Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feature Friday. We'll get started here in about 5 more minutes. Hope everyone has had a wonderful week. And, oh my goodness, happy Friday before Christmas. Ooh, it's holiday time. Hopefully, everyone has most of their shopping done now. Hi, Karen. Welcome. Hi, Mark. Yes, Mark, new headset. It's all wireless. Woohoo. Hi, Cynthia. Yeah, Mark, I'm trying this one out. Before I 100% commit to it. I'm actually in the new room tonight. I'm in the classroom. Hopefully everything will go fine. So far, so good. Happy holidays, Cynthia. Yes, we'll get started here in about, let's see here, about 3 or 4 more minutes. Hi, Linda. Oh, wonderful, Mark. Thank you for that. It's Bluetooth, so you could actually use it with your phone also. So I'm hoping this will really solve some of the other issues I've been having. It's like I said before, many times before, it's a learning experience with all this fun technology stuff. Hooey. We're going to be playing on a different machine tonight. Hi, Janelle. Greetings. So, Janelle, out there in Boise, what's your temp out there today? Have you had any snow? It's been raining here and drizzling all day long. At least it's warm enough that it didn't get none of the winter precipitation. Let it be said at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. 2 more minutes, everybody, and we'll get started. You're going to have some fun tonight. Hopefully, my setup, how everything is set tonight, will work well, so I can come online here a little more often than what I have been. I will tell you, we have been sick kittens, sick puppies here in this household. We have both been sick, where there's some type of a flu bug going around, and boy, howdy, we both caught it at basically the same time. It's not been a fun 2 weeks. Let it be said at that. Poor little puppin doesn't know what to think. Mm. Give me a drink of my coffee here. But yes, tonight, what I have planned. So since I'm on a different Serger tonight than what I'm normally on, normally I'm on my baby locks, but tonight I am on my new Bernina L890 Serger, and we're going to have some fun with this one. And although I've already done quarter-inch piecing on both the Triumph and the Euphoria, tonight we're going to see what that looks like on the Bernina L890. Yeah, gray day here as well, Janelle, thank you. That was about our temp today too. We didn't have the fog, but it has been rainy, drizzly all day long. All day long. Well, it is 6 o'clock, so everybody, welcome to Feature Friday. Woohoo! We're gonna get started. I tell you, I have gotten my voice back. That's a good thing. And you might be wondering, well, why am I going to be on the Bernina Serger tonight? Well, most of you know, and if you don't know, I have become a completely independent educator, so I'm not affiliated directly with Baby Lock anymore, but I still teach Baby Lock classes. And now I'll be adding Bernina to that mix and a couple of others as well. It really just depends where I'm going to be teaching at and all that fun stuff. So that being said, I'm going to swap to my other camera and we're going to have a look at this machine and then I'm going to thread it up. And there are a lot of differences between the two machines, the two brands of sergers. However, they all do basically the same stitches. There's just a different way that you manipulate them to get the result that you want. I still love my baby lock serger, but I will tell you, I am in love with this 890, and I'm going to show you some of the reasons why. I'm fortunate I can have both. I know many people who do have both sergers. So one of the biggest things that the 890 does not do that the Baby Lock Triumph does, there is no air. Let me swap my camera over real quick. Excuse me. That one right there. There we go. And there it is. The Bernina L890 Serger. So the one thing you might notice about this machine is this. Hold on here. There we go. So yes, it does come with, I've heard a lot of people ask me about this on baby lock sergers. It does come with a thread cup. That does come with it. So that's one difference between the two machines. And listen, I still love my baby lock sergers and always will. I'm never going to get rid of them. But I'm just going to show some minute differences here. Let me set my keyboard up here. Okay. So, has the same type. Open the door, air threading ports, chain looper, lower looper, upper looper, just like on the other machine. Right here, you see these little black slots? Well, that's foam in there. So when you're reaching out needles, you can actually stick your serger needles in there if you need to put some away. So what I do on mine, since I'm going to be sewing on woven fabrics, that's the type of needles I have in this serger. These are for knit fabrics over here, these two needles. So if I want to swap my fabric type, they're right there and handy to get by with. Check this out. These are your tools. So the tools are locked in behind the door. When you open this from here, this is your cleaning brush. Pretty cool. This is your needle threader. So the Bernina L890 does not have air threading on the needles. As far as I know, that's pretty much exclusively a baby lock thing. But this is what we used to have with baby lock, was this exact type of needle threader, and it works fine. Then our hex screw, our little screwdriver to change needles, is right here in the door also. So cleaning brush, needle threader, and here is the little tool that we use to remove and replace needles with. Okay, and then you have a pair of tweezers right here in the door also. It will also hold one package of serger needles. That's what's in this little compartment right here. Serger needles. Okay. Now this is a 5-thread serger where baby lock is 8. I'm going to bring my camera up so you can see right back here. There you see you can do 5 cones of thread at one time. You can still has 5 needles depending on what stitch you're going to use. But as you can see, here are your needle paths for your thread to go through. So this one right here, and they're color coded: purple, red, blue, green, yellow. It does have a touch screen. So check out the colors up here at the top: purple, red, blue, green, yellow, just like over here. Okay. And then here are where the threads go to get to your needles. You're doing chain or cover stitch, you come over to this side. I'm going to be going through all this tonight because I'm going to piece 2 different ways. We're going to start out with the 4-thread overlock, and then we'll move to a chain stitch on the cover stitch side of this machine. Okay, so Here's one thing that comes with the L890. This little is your seam guide, and you can slide it over or over this way. Okay. This is the knife cover. This is how it would be set up to do your overlock stitches. To remove this, this just slides open and opens. There is all your goodies, the air tubes, blah, blah, blah. And then you just pull straight out on it to remove that. And of course, it does come with, where'd I put it? I just moved this over here to this new location for tonight. There it is. It does have, of course, a cover stitch table. It will fit on it right here like this. And we'll be attaching this just a little bit later. We'll just put the overlock plate back on it. Okay, I'm doing this one-handed. I'm holding the camera with one hand, putting it back on. There we go. Okay, now then, this little knob right here is called MTC. This is a Bernina only thing. It's micro thread control. You can turn it from the 0 to plus or minus, and it will help balance out a stitch. If the loops when you're doing an overlock go over the edge of the fabric, you can tighten it up or loosen it up just to get that perfect stitch. Also, right here on the front, this is where you can adjust your cutting blade width or the stitch width. Anyway, default is 6. Okay, now what that means is that 6 means 6 millimeters from the leftmost needle, which also means that would be exactly, basically, a 1/4 inch. And we'll be using that tonight set on 6. Here's the difference between the two brands of sergers. So when you go all the way over to the left, the widest cutting width on the Bernina serger is 9 millimeters. Baby lock is 7.5. So that's a difference. I put it back on 6. To engage and disengage the cutting blade is over here on the side. This lever right here that raises and lowers the cutting blade. Very easy to do. And yes, this machine does come with an extension table. There we go, and check it out. The Bernina serger does have a free arm on it. Okay. So if you're really into garment making this and doing hems around sleeves or cuffs and that type of thing, this is really handy to have. I'm just going to slide that back on. And there is also a smaller piece that will fit on here if you don't want that extension table on it. But so far, I've just left the extension table on for my own use. It's really quite handy. Just trying to put it on with one hand. There we go. And it does click into place. Underneath here, there is a lever. When you squeeze it like this, squeeze, and then you can just pull it out. It unlocks it. Okay. Pretty cool. Up here on top of the machine, this is your presser foot pressure. Okay, so 4 is default, and then there's numbers going down to 1 and up to 6. And you might wonder, well, how would I know to do that? Well, guess what? The touch screen is going to tell you how to do all of these settings. There's even videos on here on how to thread it. Okay. So, all of that being said, we're going to thread this machine for a 4-thread overlock first. Let me check the comment section, see if there's any comments. Okay. Hi, Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie, Bernina does make good machines. Yes, Janelle, this is a very easy machine how to use, is what I have personally discovered. I mean, I'm so used to threading up the Triumph and the other baby lock sergers, but if you're just getting started or you're really not sure, this does not have a cardboard quick set guide because it's all built into this machine here. So check this out. I'm just going to go back to my home screen. Okay. Okay, right there. Hold on just a second. Let me grab a different camera angle here. There we go. Okay. So once I set it, go to my home screen, here is guided setup or expert mode. So if I touch expert mode, and this will do 30 different stitches, okay? 30 different stitch setups. If I touch this one right over here, this will take me to where I have a folder for overlock, cover stitches, and combo stitches, which means cover stitches and overlock in the same aspect. However, right now we are going to do overlock, and they're all numbered. I know number 1 is your 4-thread overlock because I've used that a lot, but there are just all the different ones. Totally 30 different stitches right there. Okay, so if I want number 1, there are my settings. Try to get, there we go. There's there, it even tells you which foot to use. That's a standard foot that comes with it, the C11. Here it shows you your cutting width, blade up, micro thread control at 0, that's default. Here it is showing pressure, foot pressure, where to have that subsidiary looper. And down here it's showing what needles, left needle, right needle. Okay, that tells you which needles to put in. Once you have that all set up, just press that button and you're good to go, because it's assuming under expert mode you know how to thread it. But what if you don't know how to thread it? Let's just go back to our home screen. We'll go to guided mode. Okay. Now let's go back and select the stitch that we want. You can save stitches also if you're going to play with the settings on it. But let's go back to here, overlock 1. Now we're in guided mode. It's going to take you step by step by step how to thread this machine and set it up to create that overlock stitch. What it says here, lift presser foot and scroll to the next step. So I'll do that. I'm lifting the press foot. See, it's lifted. And now we'll just go to the next step. No unthreading required. Now, it knows my last stitch I did was this exact same stitch. But you know what? What if it wasn't? Let's go back. And for this purpose, I'm going to actually change it so you can see this. I'm going to change it to a 3-thread overlock. Hold on here. Okay, guided mode, close that, overlock, and this is 3-thread overlock right here. 3-thread overlock wide, okay? LN means left needle. So I have the presser foot lifted. Now it knows I've got it threaded for my 4-thread overlock. So next step, unthread the following thread path, right needle. So that's what I would do next. I would unthread my right needle thread path, okay, which is also the green area. Right here is a green dot, so that is the one I need to unthread, which is this thread right up here. There's my thread I need to unthread, so I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to cut it right up here. Okay, that's been cut. I will not be using that thread on this stitch. I'm also going to need to remove, I will need to remove the right needle also, but it hasn't told me to do that yet. So let's just see what it says to do next. Okay, it is unthreaded. Attach presser foot C11. Adjust presser foot pressure to 4. It's right up there at 4. Now, what if I didn't know how to do that? Like, say, this presser foot pressure. Well, look at the little camera beside it. Right there it is showing what to do to set that presser foot pressure to 4. Pretty cool. Just close that. Attaching the presser foot. Let's just touch that video, and there it shows you how to remove the presser foot. All built into the machine. Pretty cool. I'll come back for questions here in a moment. Let's just close that. That's done. Okay. Then we'll go to the next step. Insert needle in position shown. LN. Well, I have the left needle already in, and it's already threaded, so I'm just going to remove my right needle. Okay. Going to remove the right needle. There's the tool. There's my right needle. Now, remember where I said that little storage area was? So it's going to go in that first one right there. There's the needle I just removed. And I did that because now I know we're in that slot. That's just something I put in my own head. You can put any size needle in any of those 3 slots you want, but I know that's for a woven fabric. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to gently tighten up that screw. Let me get my better glasses on so I can see. Hold on. There we go. There's my close-up glasses. I can see the screw hole now. There we go. I'm just going to gently tighten it up. I'm not going to turn it real hard, just until it stops turning easily. And then I can just put my tool back in its little holder, and that's all done. Now we're ready for the next step. But if you were wondering, let's go back. Here's a video on how to insert the needle. How to thread it, all that stuff. So on that needle, the threader, it has a hole where you hold the needle with it as well. That's what it just showed there, right here. Right there on that end. It's just showing you what to do here to set it up for that, to move it from a 3-thread overlock, moving it from a 4-thread overlock to a 3-thread. Let's just stop it. We've got that done. Let's go to the next. Activate the knife. So it's going to show you how to turn that lever. See right there, just showing you where that lever's at. Pretty cool. Adjust the cutting width. That's a video on that. Next, attach the knife cover insert, which is this right here. It's just going to show you how to do that. Activate the upper looper, and it will show you how to do that. I'm not going to go through each one of these steps right now. Hook out the upper looper converter, which what they're talking about here is this little lever right here. There's your loop. If you're doing a 2-thread overlock or a flat lock, you just turn that over like that, click it into place. But we don't need that activated, so we just leave it back like that. Next. Set rolled hem lever to position O. That means for overlock, and that's right here on the machine. This little lever right here. It's set at O, and there's an R right there. There you go. So forward is overlock, back is for rolled hem. The micro thread control, we always start at 0, and that's right here. The little black dot is 0. Next, it's telling you which thread paths we need to have threaded. Now on this, I'm not going to use, for what I'm going to sew on, I have got all this Christmas colored fabric here, these Christmas prints. So I do not want the brown and gold threads. I'm going to change all of those, just a neutral gray. So now I'm going to thread all of these 4 areas. And what the little camera does, it will show you. I'm going to touch each one of these, and I'm actually going to do it. Left needle. It will show us how to thread the left needle, which is the yellow path. Pretty cool. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Upper looper, which is the blue path. Pretty cool, right? Let's just set that down. And then the lower looper, which is the red path. Okay. And there's much more to that. It'll show you how to put it through the air threader and all that fun stuff. But once I change those, I'll click on that check mark, and then it will be ready to sew. Okay. I'm just going to back this camera up a little bit so you can see everything that I'm doing here. Okay. So I'm going to check for for comments before I move forward. Okay. Hi, Carol. Okay, everybody. So next, I'm going to rethread everything. I'm going to rethread the needle and rethread the needle and the 2 loopers and all that fun stuff. Okay, so here we go. So what I'm going to do, I am going to just remove all the thread from the machine right now. So I'm just going to snip my threads. I'm going to pull them forward. I do have the presser foot up. And I can just pull it right out. There's all the threads gone. And I'm going to take them off of their spools up here. Get all these off. Okay. And I'm going to use Metler. These came with it, 5 cones of this gray. So this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to start, you can do it in any order, but I'm just going to start with the lower looper first, which would be the red path. What I'm doing, these little mini cones, you can't have these little thread cone holders on your thread posts when you use the smaller ones, just because they won't fit over it. And if the colored pathway if you think that's might be confusing, well, check it out. The thread stand up here at the top actually has the color codings as to what color goes where, and they collate to the spool pins directly underneath them. Okay. So first we're going to do our lower looper, which is the red path. the red path right there. And that will go right here in this. Now, to set it up for air threading, this lever right here, I'm just going to turn that over. Let's see here. There we go. Now, on this machine, there is not a push button to activate the air threader. What you do is you just insert the end of the thread about quarter to a half an inch in its threading port. In this case, we're going to do the red one. And then you press on the foot control to activate it. Oops. Get a little bit closer here so you can see that. There we go. Okay. I'm going to press on the foot control. Oops. I just moved this tonight to a new location. I have to plug it in first. There is the foot control that comes with the machine. And one really cool thing I really love about this machine, it has needle up and needle down. And just like with any Bernina, if you do a heel tap on your foot control, that will cycle it through the needle up and needle down positions. You get that plugged in. There we go. Okay. Now we're all set. Now we're going to thread that lower looper. There it is. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but it's really quiet. Oops. That was our lower looper. Now we'll do the upper looper next. Okay. Upper looper is next. And the whole time I'm doing this, I've been letting the little how-to video here play. You can see it right there. But okay, so that was the lower looper. Here's the upper looper video. And how to thread the upper looper. Let's watch this for just a second. Pretty cool. Check out that video. Woohoo. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next, right there. Okay. This is our blue pathway for the upper looper. I need a little more thread out there. There we go. There it went, right there. Upper looper. Easy. And then we're going to thread the needle next. Okay. So I'm going to use this little gizmo right here. This little needle threader. This will be the yellow pathway for the left needle, which is right here. And we'll actually show this on the video. So to thread your needle, we're doing the yellow one. So right there is a slot with a yellow coating on it. So we'll go right there like so. There's a yellow coating right here that will go up and down. Then right here are some little slots, for lack of a better word. You just put your thread back through that. And then there's another little catch, which I really like this feature. It will actually hold it in place. There's a slot here and here, right needle, left needle, but it kind of clicks, your thread clicks in there and holds it in place. There we go. Then to thread it, slide it across that threading tool, slide it down the needle, you'll feel it go right in the hole. Press the thread through, remove it, and just pull it through. Easy peasy. Okay, it's threaded. Now I will put this back in the door, so it's easy to find for the next time I need to use it. There we go. Now then. And check it out. We'll swatch that video. There's the left needle. This is what we just did. You'll see how that looks like to thread that left needle. Easy peasy. So as you can see, this takes the guesswork. This is like an in-your-face tutorial on how to thread this machine. And that does that for all the different stitches that you can do with the Bernina L890. Pretty awesome. But guided step by step. You don't have to find a YouTube video or anything like that. It's built into the machine. Okay. So now that we've done all those 3 steps right there, I'll press the green check mark. And it's telling me I did not do this. I got to close my doors, but look, there's the knob for the air to engage the air threader. Just told me to turn it back off, and as soon as I did this, my blue screen popped up, which shows here is I have it needle down, 2.5 length, and here is your differential. So you control everything by the screen, including tension. What if I wanted to change that tension? Say there's your upper looper, I could touch that, and here's where I could change my thread tensions. And that's one thing that's really great about the Bernina one. You can actually change the tension on each individual thread. What I have discovered by using this machine, if I'm using nothing but Serger thread, I haven't had to adjust my tension at all on it. Just the default settings work pretty awesomely. However, if I do need to, check this out. There's my upper looper right there. I can do this plus and minus and thread and change the tension right here if I desire to. So right now it is set at 4, the blue. If I come over here and go up one number, just touch the push in on the plus side, it then went up to 4.1. Okay, I'm going to press the minus key, and then it went back down to 4.0. Pretty cool. This icon here, this is where you can adjust your speed of the machine. So this is turned all the way up, 1,350 stitches per minute. You can lower it by doing that, or you can drag it if you want it to go slower. Totally up to you. Pretty cool. What if you wanted to do this? By touching that it just turned it from just to monotone color. Notice if I touch it again, it's going to show each individual thread color, because if I change the tensions on this a lot, it will show me in real time on this screen what that tension change would do to it. For instance, that upper looper, which is the blue, what if I increase that upper looper tension? Check this out. I'm going to turn it all the way up to 9. and it doesn't show that it really did anything. But that is one thing you can do with this, is play with the thread tensions, which is really useful if you're going to be doing some creative control, if you're wanting to be a little more creative with it. And there we go. Okay, so if you're ready to sew, to change it from needle up to needle down, that little icon right there shows the needle below the surface. If I touch that, it puts it in needle up position. To use the air threader, the needles have to be in the upmost position. I normally use it with the needle in the down position unless I'm threading. Okay, so now that that's all done, okay, we're going to close the doors on it. That's all done. Now, it does come with a stylus also. If you don't want to touch your touch screen with your finger and get fingerprints all over it, you can control it with that stylus equally as well. And it actually stays, there's a magnetic area right over here on this side of the machine that will hold it in place right there. Okay. So, okay. So here's what I like, how I like to use my seam guide, everybody. I'm going to move this over so that this little raised part of the seam guide right here is even with my cutting blade. And you'll just do that by kind of eyeballing it, but it gives you a guide as to where that would be. Okay. And of course, this has a multitude of feet that you can use for it. Personally, when I'm piecing with overlock, I like to have the clear foot. Baby Lock has a clear foot also. This is the one made by Bernina, and I like to use a clear foot with it. So, that being said, it also has the clear curved foot, but I'm just going to leave the one that came with it on for right now. And I'm just going to take two of my squares right here, right sides together. I'm just going to line them up because I don't really want to cut anything off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to butt this up against the blade. Then I'm going to move my seam guide in until those just touch area right there. So check it out. There's what I'm talking about. I just moved this over so the edge of this just touches that. I also have them, first I had them just touch the blade, just right there. And now we're good to go. So let's do a seam. Lower my presser foot. And there we go. There is my 1/4 inch seam, everybody. Check this out. Now, what I forgot to put back on it, though, was my thread catcher. So let's do that. Because as you can see right here, I don't know if you can see them or not, there's a bunch of little scrappy things that just really trimmed off the tips on the pinking. So let me just grab all that. Let's put our thread catcher back on. There it is. Another tool that comes with the machine, which is I find very useful, and we use this is actually this part here is actually for, there you go, that little fork looking thing, that is actually to help pull cover stitches towards you to lock them. But on the end of it is a little ruler. And here is a handy little thing to use to check seam allowances. So if I put the ruler right where the needle went into the fabric, that is exactly a 1/4 inch seam. From where the needle marking is, it's right there on that 1/4 inch seam. So that's a perfect 1/4 inch seam. Okay, let's do that again. Oh, let's do another one. Here we go. Now what I'm making, this is actually going to be a little holiday table runner. And yes, it does have a knee lift. So I just did there. So that actually controls that presser foot. Once you get used to using a knee lift, it's hard not to use it. And one of the biggest things I hear about people who use this machine is how quiet it is. It is a quiet machine. There we go. 1/4 inch seam. If we open that up, nice strong seam also. So if I want to put these two together, there we go. All I'm going to do is line up my center seam, and I'm going to flip them so that they're butted up against each other. I'm going to nest that seam, line up this end, and that's where I'll start sewing. Knee lift up that presser foot. What's great about this, the way this has a deeper curve in it that comes out, all your little scraps go right into this cup. There we go. That quickly, how perfect that those 4 corners meet right there. Easy peasy. It is, Jackie, it is very quiet and there is no bouncing. Now, the table I have this on is not it's sturdy, but I can tell you my sewing machine has a little bit of vibration on this tool, but this table really works good for a serger. So, see, and here's a block I'd already done. Let me back this camera out a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. And this is actually in my what I call my workroom where we're at tonight. But then I'm just going to add 2 of these together. Let's see here. I think we'll do these 2 right here. We'll just put 2 more together. Knee lift up, slide it under. And what I discovered about the knee lift, the biggest thing to get used to using this knee lift is this. If you rest your knee against it, you'll get an error message up here on your touch screen that shows to lower the presser foot. So you definitely have to be really cognitive of that when you first start using it. But after you get used to it, it's just second nature. It is nice to have a little thread bin also. I didn't realize how much I would actually miss one of those. Yeah, but there's that part done. So next, we are going to move it over and set it up for a 2-thread chain safety stitch on the cover stitch side machine. Excuse me. And what that looks like in real life is this seam right here. This side is a straight stitch. The back side is a chain safety stitch. So with a serger that does a combo, if you have cover stitch, you can actually do the same straight stitch your sewing machine will do. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back over here to my screen. I go to my home screen. I'm going to go to guided mode. I'm going to select a different stitch, cover, and right there in 16 is my 2-thread safety stitch, which is a straight stitch with the chain on the wrong side. Touch that, and once again, it will guide me step by step. See, it's telling me to unthread everything I have threaded. This is exactly how it is currently threaded. So it walked which presser foot to use, presser foot pressure, which needle, deactivate the knife, adjust the cutting width, attach the cover stitch insert. This is the little table right here. I'm going to do all of that. Deactivate the upper looper. No setting of upper looper converter required. Set rolled hem to position O for overlock. And then here's the two threads I need to thread. This is saying the right chain. And then this is the chain looper. Okay, that's only two threadings there. So I'm going to bring this back a little bit to see everything I'm doing. I'm going to take off my cup here. This will not, you don't need this when you're doing chain or cover stitch because you're not going to use the knife. I'm going to bring my hand down over here. I'm going to deactivate. Let me just open this up first. There's that. We'll set that to the side. And now I'm going to lower. I'm going to raise my foot. I'm going to take off that overlocked foot. General purpose foot C11. And I'm going to use my cover and chain foot. And this is 13 is the number of this foot. This is only for cover stitch. Okay. Both this foot and the overlock foot, they come with the machine. It comes with 2 feet. And first I am going to get my needle all the way up. Okay. Then I'm going to take out all my threads. I'm going to remove all my thread. Pull those forward. Pull that needle thread out. Okay, that's all done. Then I am going to lower my upper looper, and that's this lever right here. So if I turn that to the left and use my hand wheel and turn it towards me, it just locked my upper looper down. It's not coming up and down anymore. Okay, that's what you want. I'm going to lower my cutting blade right there. My finger's resting on top of it. It just went down. That's in the O position. The overlock rolled hem has to be an O. It did say to turn your cutting width all the way down to 5. And the reason you do that, that just makes the chain cover stitch table fit nice and snug up against this. It's this right here. This will just slide in. Then when you close it, there it is like that. We're going to leave it open though because we have to thread our chain looper. Now, chain looper is this rightmost slot right here, and it is lavender purple. It goes in the purple threading port right there. That means they're actually colored purple, red, blue. There's also a chart here on the side of the machine that shows all of those things too, and the thread paths. So next, what I'm going to do, I am going to move my overlock left needle position to my right chain position. So I'm going to remove the needle. And then I'm just going to put it in the RC position, which on baby lock, that would be C3. But on Bernina, this is RC for right chain needle. Loosen it, stick it up. And there's little slots above each needle position right there so that you can actually see that needle go up all the way up. And then you just want to gently take any slack out of your little set screws. Okay, that's all set. I'm going to attach my C13 foot, which is chain cover stitch foot. There we go. That's all set. Oops. Didn't snap into place. My bad. There we go. Now it's attached. Okay, I'm going to close that up, put my tool back down here, then I have to thread. Okay, so first I'm going to thread my looper thread, and I'm just going to move this one cone of thread over to its proper spindle, put it through the purple threading path. Okay, then it's going to go down into the purple threading port. Never, ever, ever on any air threading serger, regardless of its spread, never oil or put any liquid into those threading ports. That's a very costly mistake. It doesn't matter what brand it is, never, ever, ever do that. Okay, let's get that into that thread in there. That went through. Let's just make sure. Yes, there it is. There's the end of my chain looper thread. Then we are going to thread up that needle, which should be it's showing here the right chain would be the yellow thread path, which is this one right here. And of course, there is a detailed video for each one of these. If you have any questions about where to put that thread at, very detailed video on how to follow that thread path. And get in there, you. Oops. Try that again. There we go. Okay. And yes, there is a thread cutter over here on the left side of the machine. They all must. I don't know of any serger that does not have that. Okay, so let me put my little threading tool back in the door. Okay, see that's all the tools are in there. Now I can undo my air threader, shut the door, check the green check mark, and now that is all set. Check it out. It is showing these are default settings. Chain looper 1.5, right chain needle 3.3. So, all of that being said, I am going to, now I do not have a seam guide for this machine yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up a seam, that seam where the needle is, where the needle on this is. Watch this. It should be right there. And now it shows me here, check it out. Right there is where I need the edge of my fabric. follow. But what I'm going to do, instead of, I don't have a a cover stitch seam guide yet for this. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to put a piece of tape there just to mark it so I can have something to visually hit. And let me grab that. Now it does, of course, come with a fully illustrated owner's manual and all that fun stuff, and a book of accessories as well. Here, I'm just going to, this is embroidery tape. I'm just going to tear me off a small piece of it. I'm just going to line this up right where I want the edge of my fabric. See what I did here? You can do this with any machine. Do that with a sewing machine too. And right there is just where I need to follow the edge of that to get my 1/4 inch seam. Okay. Yes, Linda, this is a very quiet machine. I did a class with this machine and the Baby Lock Triumphs in it, and boy howdy, you can have a classroom full of these machines and it is not noisy at all. Now then, let me just test my stitch real quick. This is just a piece of scrap fabric here. But that is one thing that did impress me with this machine. It is extremely quiet, and it does make a beautiful stitch. Okay. So yes, that is making a stitch. That's all I wanted to check. Now I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to attach these 2 squares to it. Let's see here. Let's give it a little test run here before we get carried away and finish the piecing part of it. Butt those 2 seams up together. There we go. So all I'm doing, I'm having the edge of my fabric follow this inside edge of the tape here. Let me move this camera over and get a bit closer look at what I'm doing here. Now, before I move it or anything, watch what it does when I do a heel tap on the control foot. Notice it stopped needle down. If I press my heel on the presser foot, the needle went in all the way the up position. I can now raise my foot and just pull out my thread and cut it if I wanted to. How cool is that? Pretty cool. I'd say it's pretty cool, but check out my stitches here. Right there is a straight stitch. That camera focus. You can see it right there. I'm using a gray thread. There's the back of it. And if we open it up, there is that perfect joining of the 4 corners right there. Pretty cool. Now I just have a few more pieces here to sew together, and we're going to finish our little table topper here, the piecing part of it, on this machine. And yes, you can chain piece. We're just going to do that right now. Peppermint and candy cane. That's a good combination, isn't it? But yeah, that's how easy it is to use. It's not a difficult machine to learn. These modern sergers, I will tell you, they are something else. Okay, and yes, you can just chain off. I always cut when I cut it. I always leave about an inch and about 1 inch tall or thereabouts. Then I'm just going to cut these off. And one piece. Go and do the next seams to join these, and then at the end we'll add it to our other piece. And tomorrow I'm actually going to use this machine and do what is called serger quilting. So we're going to quilt this tomorrow, this little table runner. And this does have the nice wide throat space, which is awesome. This machine is so quiet. I mean, it sounds like a sewing machine instead of a serger, quite honestly. Let's see here. I don't want those two together, though. Do I? Yeah, why not? That'll work. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so just going to chain it off. And give it a little snip. Now I have these 2 units to sew together, 2 units like this, so 4 patches. And let's see here. Then we have that unit. And this first one we first started with on the overlock side. We're just going to set these 2 together. Let's see here. We'll try to put a little bit of thought into which end I sew this one on. Okay. Right here like this. No. Like that. Yes. No. Right here like this. There we go. Okay. Just always line up the center seam. Then everything else will just fall magically into place. But if you want to like piece a quilt top on your serger, if you have if you have a serger that does chain and cover stitch as well, it just takes 2 cones of thread to do what I'm doing right now. So one of those cones of thread is your bobbin, by the way. There is no winding bobbins when you sew on a serger, which is always, in my humble opinion, a fun thing. Let's check this out. There we go. That's just going to be a small runner right there. I'll put a border on it. I'll have to cut that. We'll put a border on it tomorrow and quilt it tomorrow. Yeah, but that's how easy it is to use this Bernina L890 serger. Pretty awesome. Yeah, where's my mouse? Let's change the camera angle. Change to a different camera. There we go. Okay. Well, that camera actually, let me try something here. Deactivate, activate. Nope, that one, my original face cam there, it just locked up. So let me move back over here to this other camera. Okay. There we go. Okay. Woohoo. I have a little bug there to work out on one of my other cameras. Woohoo. But boy, howdy, that was fun. Hi, Tracy. Thank you. Yes, it is very nice. It's a lot of fun. I love Sergers, and boy, howdy, this is I really like this one a lot. I love them all, though, as far as that goes. But yeah, tomorrow we will actually do some embellishing. We're going to quilt our little table runner, and we're going to do some decorative embellishments as well, and really put this L890 through the big test. As far as that goes, we're going to run some heavy threads through it, and that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, woohoo! Let's see here. Okay. So everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you can't make it tomorrow, I will get that listed tonight so you know what time it is. But yeah, if you can't make it tomorrow, and I don't see Sunday, have a wonderful holiday. I will not be doing any lives on Christmas Day as far as that goes. But thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a beautiful holiday, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.